Well, this is one of my favorite artifacts in the whole collection. Some of them are interesting, but that one is really special. So this is something that came with from the estate of Elizabeth Henrietta Osler. She's related to William Osler, the famous Canadian doctor, the icon. And she, her family was full of lawyers. Her grandfather, her father, her brother, her uncle, they were all lawyers. And there's at least one or two who were benchers of the Law Society, and I think there may have been one who was a treasurer of the Law Society. So quite prominent lawyer family. So when you open it, when you examine it, you can see from the label that it was purchased in England. So that's our first clue. And then when you look at the inside, you can see from the finish that it was probably meant for something that was precious and fragile. And then when you look, I can tell you, she did a little bit, but I can tell you it's a hat box. And when you look at the shape of the cushion inside to support whatever was in there, you can see that it has the shape of top hat. So this was a top hat box. Probably an expensive hat to have its very own box. The main reason why I think this is a cool artifact, I mean, the fact that it's a hat box is neat, but you can see the name of the owner on the top there. He was Britton Osler. And then the most interesting thing about this box is not even the box itself, it's the stamp on the side here. And you can see it's a stamp from the Cunard liner company. It still exists. They have these huge luxury ships. And when you look at it, you can see it has his name, Osler. It has the destination, so he was going to New York. And it has a date. There's no year, but it says February 26th on there. And the most interesting bit of information here is the name of the ship. And this box traveled on the Lusitania. And the Lusitania historically was an important ship. It sank in 1915. It was shot by a German torpedo. We hear about the Titanic all the time, but the Lusitania was one of the major civil marine disasters that occurred in time. The other thing is that this aggressive sinking by the German was also one of the reasons why the United States joined into for the First World War. So obviously it's a momentous event. It's a big event in history. So we know that the ship was sunk in 1915, but we also know that the ship was commissioned in 1907. So it's a fairly small window when this box was on the ship. We also know that it was going to New York, and when I was doing some research, I found that the Ellis Island Foundation in New York has the manifests of all the ships that went into port late 19th century, early 20th century. And when I went through the manifests, I found Mr. Osler. So what's interesting about the manifest is that you get all kinds of information that you would not get anywhere else. I mean, this was a sworn statement that everybody had to answer the same questions. So, for example, from the manifest, we know that he was 36 at the time. We know that he was 5'9". He had dark skin, dark hair, dark eyes, that he traveled quite a bit because he'd already been in New York earlier that year. He had at least $50 on himself in his pockets, and he had purchased his own ticket. And we also know that he was sound of body and mind, that he was not a polygamist. He was married, but just once. And apparently he was not an anarchist. It's kind of interesting. I mean, would you answer that you're an anarchist?
Yeah,
yes, I am.
Exactly.